Hi, welcome to Ginger Snapshots. Hey, welcome to part 2 of the gear up for building a studio. So last week we talked about all of the process of finding someone that was going to do the building, the work of it, who to choose, how to do it. And we had decided that we were going with Kansas Outdoor Structures, and that Sturdy Built was building it for them, for us, that whole contractor thing. We had got the permit. We went through the whole process. And now it was before they actually came on site to build. We had the job. We had the thing that we had to do was to put a foundation down. So Sturdy Built comes in and builds the studio or the shed, and that's all they do. They build a shed structure, no foundation and nothing inside, no drywall, nothing like that. But we still had decided that we needed that work done, but we would do the rest of it. So we had also opted to get a gravel foundation and to do that ourselves. And Tyler, who we were working with as our contractor, he had given us an option of someone that could come in and do it, or we could do it ourselves. And we opted to do it ourselves. Now, what we did was we went to Home Depot and rented one of those little backhoe machines, and we ordered gravel. The guy that brings the gravel, the company that brought in the gravel, just comes in and dumps all that gravel on your driveway, and then you take we took the backhoe into the backyard and then transferred it that way. Scoop it up, put it back there. But the trick was with the foundation, you had to have like railroad ties that go all the way around it, to form it so that you had something to put the actual gravel in. So that was prep work beforehand. So we, leveled that ground out, dug it out to where, it could actually kind of sit down in it and put the railroad ties in and got all of that ready. Then we bring the gravel in. When we were doing the gravel, it was one of those really crazy hot days, and it ended up being so much more work than what we had anticipated for that day. And we ran out of gravel, so we had to call the man and say, listen, we're in the middle of this. We've got a backhoe rented, and we need to get it back today. What can we do? And he's like, hey, I've been there. Let me get you some more gravel. And he brought in, I don't know how many tons more gravel, but he brought in more gravel for us that day. It was just super nice of him. And so we put all of that gravel down. It was a lot of work, a lot of working a machine that my husband hadn't worked with. And I'm taking pictures. That's all I'm doing. I'm just watching. And we actually asked my son-in-law to come in, who was phenomenal with the little backhoe, it was like a little race car to him, just moving, doing those gears. And so we got it done. But looking at the cost of it compared to the cost of somebody else doing it, we realized that we would have been better off, really, if we had just paid someone to do that. Because by the time you paid for 2 loads of gravel and then the rental of the machine, and then all day of working with something that is new to you, versus somebody that is, the cost wasn't going to be any more by the time you rented all of that and you got the gravel. So paying somebody would have been just as great. I mean, it worked out and we're fine and we did the work, but cost wise, it looks like hindsight says you wouldn't have spent any more money to have someone do that, and it would have been done with a whole lot less work on our part. So the gravel was ready, and I'm ready for them to come and build. So we had put down like the deposit and signed everything for the building, probably maybe April, maybe May at the latest. Now, we had started this whole process like in March. So really it had been building up to getting it all worked, the details worked out, getting, everything took time, like the permit, having somebody come out to mark everything. Every step took more time. And so we finally got it to where we were going to do it, and we were on the schedule. The problem was there were so many people ahead of us, and that spring had been really not like this year at all. This year is like crazy hot and dry. But that year it had rained so much that the builders had gotten very much behind. And so I would watch the weather, and every time it would rain again, I'd be like, oh man, they can't work today. And so I was just so excited, and I didn't want to do anything, didn't go. I just wanted, I was so excited to get that built. I just couldn't wait. And even my customers were like excited for me because they knew how excited I was, and like, oh, well, we'll get our pictures, when. And so that was the idea that, there would be more room to get family pictures, that type of thing, more room for real cake smashes instead of little tiny ones. So we didn't get, I actually get, they didn't even begin building until August. So I had all to, I know that's only, looking back, that's just a short time, but at the time it seemed like forever because I was so excited. And when Sturdy Built came out, all they needed was access to the backyard. That literally, that was all they needed. And they built, it was on a Friday, they built all day Friday, and there was about six men probably. And they had most of that building done. And then that following Monday, they sent two young guys out here to finish it up. And they took a little
Okay,
bit.
let me interrupt myself just to go through some of the pictures I took that day. And there's probably a good 50 pictures here. So I'll just keep talking while I'm showing them to you. Literally, my shed showed up on the back of this trailer. They brought this in, and this is my shed. And actually, they were going to come, I don't remember, maybe that the day before or sometime that week they were going to come. They actually came on a Friday. It was July 31st. And they were going to come, and it rained, but they had everything loaded on the back of the trailer, and they said we'll just have to wait another day. So they had it, my shed was ready to go. They were just waiting for the weather to clear up for it. And literally they backed that in, came through the gate to the backyard, and just started unloading everything. So here you can see it was a total mess that day. And that is not partly that is because of us and everything. So they have 2 befores, and then this is their lunch stuff because they brought their whole lunch with them. And if you look back here, this once at one time was a beautiful vine, but when we put the foundation down, we tore it up and we lost it, and so that just had to be couldn't be saved. And this beautiful vine that we'd been growing for quite a few years, it ended up dying as well. That was just the cost of building. So here we go. We just have different pictures of them working, and it wasn't very long before they had their own foundation. Now, see, they're building, this right here is what they're building, just that foundation. That's the floor of my studio. But if you look, there's the railroad ties and the gravel foundation. And with having that double load of gravel, it actually built it up. But then if you look back over here, it's level. So that was what we had to do, was try to get that gravel to be where it was level, regardless if it was level with the rest of the ground. So it didn't take them very long at all. And again, there's like things from our backyard, things from their tools, things that was being stored. So it was just crazy day. But they have everything they need, literally. And if you look, I mean, just within a couple hours, they have this frame up, and then they even started. They just carry those roof pieces to go over top of everything. And if you look, all of them have these big tools, tool belts and tons of tools. They're just so totally prepared. And I don't know if they minded me taking pictures, but they were really nice to me. And I just kept taking pictures. And I was afraid of getting in their way. So then I actually moved to a room upstairs of my house and just took it through the window. And you can tell that. Snuck back outside and took it from my tree. Again, they have all these ladders and these tools, and they're ready to go. And I don't know if they actually had a generator. They do come prepared for that, but we have a couple different outside outlets. But you can tell that they're using some power tools there. And here are the actual roof pieces. And if you notice, the walls of the studio go up from the floor up to about 7 feet. And so the rest of it is just really roof. And so when you're actually planning it, at the height of it, you can tell how much I didn't want to give up. That's a lot of height. And hiding that with I kind of thought with hiding that with a loft on each side would, just kill. But that also, you could also tell that this would have been a great deal of storage too, with all that space there. And it was so funny. They just walked around the top of it like it was nothing. It's very obvious that they're skilled at what they do. They're experienced at what they're doing, and each one had their own job. So I mean, it was just crazy how this one's doing this one guy's doing this, another guy's doing this, another guy's working on the floor, and they just keep going. And they didn't, I don't, they stopped just for a short time to have their lunch, and then they were right back at it. They didn't ask for any help or need anything from us. They just were very well prepared, and just went to it. And as you can see, this guy, they're still building it, and this other guy is painting it. But they have it down to such a science that they realize what, the walls that can be painted while they're doing the roof and framing that roof in. The guy's still painting. They've got the places where you can stand and walk across on the ladders that's there. And then I had it, if you can see right here, these actually are my rafter ties. This is what's giving stability to the roof, these pieces right here. And then they just start, it's a tin roof. So then right there, they just start putting the tin roof on. And as I said, here's this guy painting, and the other ones are up there working on that roof. And it is that barn red color. Oh, and there is a picture that they've painted the door, and like I will say in just a moment, or did say, I'm interrupting myself, so either you're hearing it now or in a minute. But that door, I did not want it red, and that was just a miscommunication, and they completely understood that and fixed that for me. Again, here's the rafter ties. You can see it better here. I guess this is a good picture of the rafter ties to show you the rafter ties that are actually seen inside of it. And so this is what it looks like literally at the end of one day. I mean, they have built all of this. They put the windows on, they put the doors in. The roof is not done, as you can tell, but this is all they've got done in one day. And then they took right after they left on that second day. So everything was completely done. And you could tell they finished that trim, like I said. Just added trim and finished the roof, and painted the door. Now notice there's no step. That was up to us, but that was because we opted for them not to build the porch. But I think it looked a lot better with the gray door instead of the red door. It was just too much red. But as soon as they got done, I was like, this is the most beautiful building ever. And then here's some things inside. So here's an inside view of the rafter ties. Now, and even later on, I'll tell you about this when we went to build the walls. This right here is a little lip. If you were up close, you could tell that this kind of sticks out, and this is where the loft would have been. So it would have went up 7 feet, and then this all would have been, you wouldn't have seen any of this, but this right here is where a loft, and anybody that's thinking about this and you want to do a loft at either end, this is what it's going to be right there. But if you can tell, from here to here is the extra space I feel like I gained. So here's a rafter tie. This back here looks like it's a rafter tie, but it's actually part of the building on the back wall. But so here is the first rafter tie right here, and here, and up here. So here is the inside, and and one thing that I was very surprised about was we wanted that tin roof, but I didn't know when I said, yeah, that was our choice. But what I did not do or didn't research was that there was no wood here. Like here is plywood, whatever you want to call it. And I just, in my mind, I assumed that they would have the tin roof, metal roof, whatever you want to call it. It's a metal roof. And then have the wood there. And that was not the case. So that just really surprised me. And, price was no different. So we could have done it either way. But here's the nice little windows. And these are like the nice little windows that you can open in and out at any angle, and to clean them or whatever. Nice little screens. And there is a view of the inside just walking in. That's my little dog right there. Sorry. Okay, so that is how it looked on day 2 of the building it.
And just finished everything up. Handed me the keys and let me go in it. And I was not really you're not like when they build that, you're not allowed to use it until the city comes out for final inspection. And I thought, oh man, now how long is it going to be? But the city was great. The city of Wichita was really great. I don't know why they did it so quick, but within a day, they came and they inspected, said, "Yep, it's great. You're good to go," and they signed off on it, and we were good. So there we were. So that was August of 2021. Yes, because I've just been in there a year. So August of 2021, we had the building, we had the foundation, we had the building built, and then it was just like, now we had a lot of work ahead of us. And I will say this, at that time, I did not know how much work was ahead of us or how hard it would be. So I don't know if I should make this a short video or start going into that. From there, we started buying up material. So we had the building ready, and we just started buying material. We started buying anything that we had room to store. And I really am glad, because if you remember, during this time, building costs climbed high in 2021. Just skyrocketed because of the COVID. Made everything, there was a shortage because of COVID and everything like that. So we actually, I like when because of my husband, he just likes to buy the stuff. It's there, you're ready to go when you need it. So we just put things in the garage, bought drywall, lumber, and we just bought tons of stuff. And he just thought it out what we were going to need. Now, mind you, we bought as much as we could, but you only have so much room, and there's some things you don't know till you get into it. But and then I think they knew our first name at Lowe's. I mean, we made so many trips to Lowe's. I mean, I can't even count the number of trips going to Lowe's. We just needed one more paint, or we needed a screw, or we needed something, and so we need more insulation. So that was a long process. Now, I would say that we started it. Now, mind you, my husband's working a full-time job, and he's doing most of the work, and I'm just assisting him. I'm doing everything that I can, but this is, our whole life is going on at the same time while we're building it. So, like Sturdy Built, they came in a day and a half, and you think, oh, if they can do it in a day and a half, how long is it going to take us? But really, we didn't have the building ready for paint. And that wasn't even the flooring until March. So from August until March, we were doing a lot of the work in the inside. So I think that's it for this week. I'm hoping to get my husband in here to talk about more of the details. But we'll start talking about drywall, insulation, and some of those unfun things that were necessary. So bye for now. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe.